Well, my name is George Martin. I have written a book called Door to Door Ministry, The Easy Way to Make Friends for Your Church. And I want to emphasize, I think it's easier than you might imagine. So I'm putting this video together for some people at Trinity Episcopal Church in Watertown, South Dakota, who are going to go out and do some door-to-door calling this spring. And they have a whole new situation. It's kind of a neat story to tell. And every church does too, but I'm really looking forward to hearing about the results of their spreading the word about what's going on. So I'm putting this together in two parts. One is a little preface to door-to-door ministry, and the anxiety that this induces is well understood. I fully get that. So I'm going to speak to that and hopefully alleviate some of that anxiety, and as I encourage you to actually engage in this ministry that I believe in. I did it when I was starting a brand new church, and I must admit, I wasn't going to go door-to-door calling. I thought, looking for Episcopalians is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Then I realized that wasn't our mission field. Our mission field was all these people who didn't have a church. Who knows who might be looking for something like that was new, that was developing, that was changing, that was open, and all those things. So once I started door-to-door calling, I started to make new friends for the Episcopal Church that we were starting. And they did come. Now, they don't all come right away. Don't expect that you're going to see a whole bunch of people show up next Sunday after you've done some calling. This is about building relationships. This is about building trust. And it's amazing how over time some of those first calls start to show up in people showing up. So, I know you're worried about this. I'm going to speak to that. First of all, I have to tell you, the reason I'm emphasizing door-to-door ministry is that it's a method that we can afford to use. Simple. It doesn't cost anything. The piece of paper that we use is a brochure that we hand out. And maybe a little gas to get to the neighborhood where we go calling. Everything else is so much more expensive. And this is personal. This is face-to-face. So it does involve a little investment, though, a little involvement. And I know that you're worried because you've had people stand at your door and they stand in your face, and they may have tried to convince you theologically that you're wrong or you don't know the Bible, or we're not doing that. We're not talking theology. We're not talking the Bible. We're simply making an invitation to come and see if they don't have a place where they worship. So you're going to also be testifying, as it were, that you do belong somewhere and that it is important to you, and that's why you're actually doing this. It's important to you and to the sense of mission of your church that you're actually going out and sharing like this. So all you're simply asking, do you have a place where you worship? And a church, a place you worship. That's a simple question. And what if they say yes? Then you bless it. That's wonderful. We are not arguing with any other faith communities in this process. We're simply opening up the doors to the one that we represent. So if they have a church, bless it. Smile. Thank them for the time. That's it. Easiest call you ever made in your life. If they don't have a church, well, then we've got some things to say about the follow-up. How you follow up to that. Well, I don't go to the church. The Rick Warren question, he started a very large church in Chicago, a successful church planter. His question was, well, if you were looking for a church, what would you be looking for? And then you put on your ears so that you can listen to them. And they can tell you what it is that they were working on and struggling with or hoping to find. And many times people told me things that, hey, the church that I represent isn't literalist in this fundamental approach to the Bible, and we don't sing a lot of old-fashioned hymns, and there's certain things that we didn't have stained glass, we didn't have an organ, we didn't have a whole bunch of things that sometimes people associate with church. which is fine. But you just have to be honest about where you're coming from. And you do have to have in your hands a brochure, something that you're going to give them, and you will have, and that's important because that's telling more, and you don't have to tell it all because a lot of it's right there where you're at with time and so on. So you don't have to spend these calls are not lasting a long time. I would imagine the longest kind of call I ever had a conversation at a door maybe was 5-10 minutes, and then see if it goes on longer. I say, hey, look, I've got to make all these calls while the day is right here. So let me schedule a call back. Or in your case, you might say, I'll tell my pastor, and she'll follow up with you. She'll be glad to give you a phone call. And what's your name? I'll tell you about how to get the name. So that's important. And by the way, and remember this, when you walk away, you're giving them a memory of someone who didn't stay, who wasn't offensive, who wasn't in their face, who actually wore a name tag, was self-identified, happy, and positive. What a gift. You don't get that from every caller, do you? But you will give that. So that's the first part of our video, and the second part is on the do's and don'ts.